Pictures of your family bonding time. That's right. Take a picture, whatever you're doing with your
Where'd you
family.
play for, Macrae? I remember your name from sports.
Dixie High.
Dixie High?
The tag
Yeah, I remember you.
Reads for Hope, Utah. That's number 4. Reads for
Yep,
Hope,
Dixie
Utah.
High.
You on
Reads
with,
for Hope,
with
Utah. We give
Tyler
away
Band
several
or with
great prizes to the
who
winning
was on
family.
the team?
No, I was older. I was 2008.
He's old.
So,
He's an old man.
12 years ago.
yeah.
I'm getting old.
It was mostly football.
Social distancing and all over.
Like
We all are.
I'll stay back here today.
Oh, well, all right.
No, maybe not.
What's up, guys? I got my second round of my beverage.
Morning, everybody. It's Thursday. It's 8:35, and that can only mean one thing. Mr. Jeremy Larkin is in the house. What's up, Jeremy?
I love that they could only mean one
It
thing.
can only mean one thing.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. Let me mute my computer so we don't listen to the show echoing in the background. Good morning, Andrew. Did your mother call you Andrew?
When I was in trouble, yes.
Okay.
What did your mother call you when you were in trouble?
I don't know, Jeremy. I don't know. There's
So use your middle name, maybe?
probably Jeremy because it was always Jer, right? Was
Oh, okay.
maybe the more of the thing, you know. So there you go. But hey, nobody's in trouble this morning. I've got Macrae Heppler in here.
What's up, guys?
I wish Jesse were on the microphone so he could screw up saying Heppler for us. He confessed it this morning. You know, some words just don't come out.
Yeah.
At least he said that he
I told
calls
him
me
why.
helper. It's
Macrae
Macrae
Helper.
helper, but it's
He is.
because I'm
Because
such a
he's
good
so,
helper.
Yep.
he's so helpful.
So I'll take that.
Yep.
That's not
And
bad.
Kind, giving,
listen.
loving, helping.
Yeah, I know he's a helper. He's a helper. So we're going to talk to him this morning. It's going to be actually a really fun discussion because the last month, if anyone hasn't noticed, has been like 2 years of our lives.
Feels like it.
Feels like 2 years. And there has been, and we will talk. I mean, as a matter of fact, everything is framed around coronavirus at this point, right? We'll talk a little bit about St. George City opening up golf courses tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
We're going to talk about a report that Macrae puts out, which is it's a very straightforward name. What's happening in Southern Utah, right? But we'll talk about this. It's really cool. He doesn't. The crazy part is, I always wish it were me doing it because it's kind of our vibe. But we never have done that nice video report, and you're killing it. But before we get set up, so we'll talk about this. Good morning, Jessica. If you're out there watching us on Facebook Live listening, please say hello. Give us a thumbs up and a hello. It's good. It's good for our business, and it's fun to see who's participating, who wants to play this morning. If you have questions, we hope you'll ask them. Show is brought to you today by Sunwood Homes. Sunwood Homes are we love these guys. They're a great client, great friends. I was in a meeting with them yesterday. Meet with them every single Wednesday from 11 to 12 o'clock. It's really cool. This is the relationship we have with this builder developer, and it's the way that we service the business, right? So they're developing 2 projects right now. One is Brookwood. Brookwood is up near Brio, and Brio is so big it's an easy reference. Out in Green Springs, and then the other one, of course, is Desert Flower. Have you seen Desert Flower?
I have. That's on Telegraph, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's going to be incredible what they're doing. 2 model homes. They're about 4 weeks out from completion, and it's that cool mid-century Brady Bunch kind of angular. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen some of the. Well, just some of the. Am I talking good?
Perfect. Dude.
There we go. Yeah, no, I've seen some of the renderings or some of the, what do you call them? 3D, not 3D.
Yeah, what do you want to call them? Just renderings. Yeah,
They look
if you
cool.
want to call them, yeah.
They look cool.
It's very cool. Elevations. Good morning, Kayla. Good morning, Rose. Rose is my cousin. So there you go. Kind of fun. So they're very cool. These things start around $275. We know that's a hot commodity. And, you know, as a matter of fact, we were talking about, another builder developer in town, Salisbury. Everybody knows Salisbury.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what happened out there at Desert Canyons. They sold this stuff out in like 24 hours.
It's crazy.
So we have 40 units. 5 of them are pre-sold to, they're pre-sold. Actual builder developer people building their own home in Desert Flower.
Oh, wow.
So 35 lots in our first phase. Visit My Sunwood. If you're listening to me today, and you are a person who is wanting to purchase a home under 300, obviously it's a small floor plan under 300. 1,250 to 1,600 feet kind of is our under 300 range. 2-car garage, RV style driveway down the back. Very cool. Or if you know someone who is. A lot of people know someone who is. And here's the fun part. Notice what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people actually buying and selling homes during a pandemic.
It's still happening.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I want to talk about orders coming through. That's the point. Like, This is not to convince people to do something. It's to let you know the world didn't burn to ash, right? So visit us at mysonwoodhomes.com, mysonwoodhomes.com, and we'll go from there. So, all right, let's jump into this sucker. Good morning, anybody. Again, if you've got questions this morning, we'll help you. I love this, Jesse. Of course, we need to social distance this morning, so he stepped out so we could hear from Macrae Heppler. You were supposed to type helper. He's an amazing man.
I tried. I couldn't help it. They tagged him.
This is kind of fun. So, Macrae is with Eaglegate Title. And listen, for our other title friends, why aren't we on the show? Look, all the companies we work with are amazing. Macrae is doing something really cool with this What's Happening in Southern Utah report. And that's why we have him in here. We want to talk about it. He's out there. It's such a tough business because your business is like our business, right? Like everybody's perceiving us all as the same.
Right.
Is that so true?
Absolutely.
Right? You're like, well, how in the world do I differentiate myself when everyone's like, oh, a title company. Oh, another realtor? Right?
Oh, yeah.
How many title companies in Washington County right now?
There's 13,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
And there's a few that have a few different locations. So
Yeah.
I think total offices there's 17.
So there should probably
Which is a lot.
There should probably be 10, realistically. 8 or 10. Same with real estate agents. We're pushing 1,700 now.
Wow.
Now that's licensed agents, right? That doesn't mean people actually doing stuff. So
Right.
there should be about 1,000. Well, there should be about 400. But let's say 1,000 would be, preferable. Andy, here's the way I would look at it. It's a little bit like how many radio stations are in St. George? Truly radio stations.
20 maybe?
There's quite a few.
15 to 20, yeah.
Made up of how many companies? Maybe a half dozen classes have those 20 companies in
Yeah,
it.
there's 3 big ones.
3 big ones. It would be like if there were 25 more people doing a little tiny radio thing, that was cutting into slicing the pie out,
Yeah.
but they're actually not serious about it. And they're doing it like, what was it that Weird Al had? What was the incredible Weird Al movie in the 80s about him having UHF? UHF, he had his own cable. It's hard to describe. It's just not like, when someone decides to become a doctor, they come out of medical school. Like they're actually qualified to be a doctor. That's not what our show's about this morning, but I'm going to rant. When someone comes out of real estate school, they're actually not qualified. I know I came out of real estate school to do anything, right? Oh, but I figured out how to do a meets and bounds survey and tell you what happens to your property line if river gets too big and takes. That's not real for buyers and sellers.
Right.
Buyers want to know, can you find me the best home? Can you get me the best value? Can you hold my hand and rub my shoulders through this insanely stressful process that I'm going to disrupt and upend my whole entire life to do? And I'm scared. And sellers want to know the same, right?
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to know if we understand how a survey works.
Right.
That's for engineers and title companies. Okay, so can you tell people before we jump into what's actually, we're going to talk positive about this community. What is title?
Absolutely.
What is title? What do title companies do?
So title companies, what we do is we work with the real estate agents, the lenders, anybody involved in the transaction. We're the third party of that transaction where the closing happens, and that's where most people know, hey, I'm closing on my house next week, but they don't really know that they're going to a title company to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We search the property to make sure that the current owner, anything that the current owner owes on that property is cleared. So we ensure the past, so that going forward, the new owner only owes what they owe on it. They don't owe back taxes. They don't owe someone's. There's multiple things that go onto property that someone could owe. So what we do is do that search. We clear it all out. Going forward, they're clear, but we also take in all the money. We act as like the middleman between
Correct.
parties, take in all the money, and we disperse that money at closing, and then we record with the county we record the deed for the new owner taking possession.
So Andy
In a
moves
nutshell.
across town, and he buys a house, and he did. What you're saying is he doesn't want to get the Smiths and the Lewises and the Hernandez and we'll get all the names. He doesn't want to get all the stuff that they owed and were attached when they owned it.
Right.
Like, hey, you bought this house, but bad news. We forgot to tell you that all the people before you left a mess for you on the title report, and you owe some liens. So, and also required, the way the state of Utah works required. You have to run through a title and escrow firm.
Right.
So you can't, this isn't like for sale by owner, selling your house. You can't be like, I'll just go to Staples and get a form. That's what people used to say, is I'll get a form at Staples. Is that hilarious to even think? I'll just go to Google and Google the title forms and handle my own title work, correct?
Right.
Has to be done by,
Technically.
yeah, that's right. So, no licensed title. So how long have you been with, because it's family business, how long have you guys?
Family business, 5 years, almost 5 years that we opened. We opened August of 2015.
And your mother, Leslie, amazing woman, how long has she been at this?
30, since before I was born.
Boom.
1987, so 33 years.
Incredible.
She is incredible.
She's been at this a while. And the best title people, by the way, Andy, and we know because we work with the best. They, they're honestly like detectives. It's almost like having a detective and an attorney and a bodyguard when you go to close.
It's
like
true.
they're like, hey, we went in, we found all these little things that you didn't have any idea were a problem, and oh, by the way, this is very Leslie, and we already solved them.
Yeah.
We're like, thank you. And it could have
Yeah,
railroaded the
that's
whole
what we try to
transaction,
do.
right?
That's what we try to do.
Good morning, Stephen Brown, Colton Hill, Becky Ellis, McKinnon Hansen, Justin Robbins. What up, Peyton Fisher? Peyton Fisher was shooting videos last night way too late. He needed to go to bed.
He's always
that
up.
dude's got more
Up
energy.
late.
You know what he said? He was really cool. He said listen, he responded to me because I said go to bed. I was working on the event for this morning on Facebook. He's like, man, Jeremy Larkin, you're the man. I still owe you for putting me on the Miracle Morning. Do you know the Miracle Morning?
I do know it. I know he's a diehard.
He's a diehard. I'm not even the diehard. I suggested this guy. Have you ever heard of the book Hal Elrod? It's Miracle Morning, Andy.
I'm not familiar with that.
Miracle Morning. Let me save you reading it. Actually, don't read it. It's a small read. It's by a guy named Hal Elrod. But the point of the book is this: get up in the morning before you do anything else. Spend, let's say, 60 minutes writing in your journal 10 or 20 or 50 things you're grateful for. Get on your knees and pray if that's the thing you do. Spend 5 or 10 minutes meditating. Move your body, and It's the Miracle Morning is having a morning routine, and but the reality is when you read the book, the back story, the back fill helps. But this guy jumped on this, and really, it's changed the way he thinks and feels. He's got more energy than anybody I know. So there you go. So there you go. Check it out, the Miracle Morning. So Macrae Heppler, you did this report. What's happening in Southern Utah?
Yes.
Yeah?
Correct.
Last one came out when? Was that a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Comes out the first of every month. So yeah, it's been, what is it, the 16th today? 15th somewhere? Yeah, it's about 2 weeks ago.
And it was, you guys filmed all this not knowing that, like, probably a month ago.
Well, no, so what I do is at the first of every month I send out an email list of everything that's happening in construction, new business, everything that's happening in town. And then every month, about the middle of the month, I do something video related. And the last video that I did was, well, there's been a few different ones that I've done lately. But yeah, this last one, I actually included a lot of, even just, because things have changed in the last month, obviously, and a lot of people have lost jobs. And luckily, this newsletter has actually kept me connected.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nice.
I got
Nice.
I wanted to reference something.
Oh, this is so awesome. Okay.
And so, but I was able to, because of this, I was able to be connected to some local businesses that are still hiring. And I was able to give a list of about 15 different businesses in Southern Utah that are taking a lot of people, and it's been really cool. It's been really cool to see the adjustment. But then there's also a lot of still new businesses that I want to get out there because they need our help right now.
Okay, so let's hit this in two things, right? Okay. First, let's talk about who's coming to town. So what's happening in Southern Utah? Because Andy, stuff didn't actually stop. It feels like it did in some ways. Like, oh, well, the restaurant's closed. Kind of, but construction hasn't stopped.
It hasn't.
Can you hit some highlights on what's happening in Southern Utah? What's coming into town?
Man, there's a little bit of everything. Everything from residentially, we have so many new communities that are, and so many good builders that are moving forward because we have had a really good stretch, and I feel like a lot of people learned from 10 years ago how to conduct business, and I feel like a lot of what between the cities and the county and all the builders and everything going on, developers, there's a lot of good stuff happening between Desert Color. Obviously, we see, there's a lot of
Amazing.
exciting things about that. Out in Hurricane, there's quite a few new developments out there. Entrada's got a new, Black Desert is on its way out there. Santa Clara's got, everything from multifamily and like what you were saying in that 275 to 300 range and above. So residentially, there's a lot coming, and then commercially, we have everything from new restaurants to new.
Who do we got? Zupas is finally building their space out,
They are.
and I think they're doing like an hour of work a day on it. Is kind of how that's going down. Like it's like the painter who shows up and paints a room and leaves. That's what it looks like to me.
That's 1 hour more per day than the water park. That's
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, they're like, hey, we framed the door today, and they left. But Zupa's finally coming to town.
And I've actually, I won't. Yeah.
Well, if you can't, is this non-disclosure stuff?
Well, no, it's just my understanding is because of COVID, they were pressing forward, and I think it's still pressing forward. So I don't want to say that it's not, but
Yeah.
construction isn't going as fast as they would like, but it's still on the way.
What about this? What about this Black Desert, really quick? People see this. So Andy, if you go out Snow Canyon Parkway, there's the big giant roundabout way out.
Yeah.
There's a project called Black Desert. Can you tell people like what it is?
So it's essentially a whole new part of Entrada that's going to have a new golf course, going to have condos, going to have shops, going to have it's a huge project that's going to be built out over the next 10, 15 years, and it's going to be another big part of Entrada resort style, and it's going to be really cool.
It looks very cool.
We've got Tava that's out in Sand Hollow. That's another resort. A couple different resort style feels that are putting St. George even more on the map globally.
Yeah.
Are these short-term rental places? Or are they?
I don't know.
Some yes, some no.
There'll probably be some zoning in there. And, Macrae, we've talked about this on the show. Short-term rentals are getting the butts kicked.
They are.
I listened to Matt Curtis a week, 6 days ago, talking about, were you on that
Amazing
call with
call,
Robert? Yeah. Saying, what did they say? They were down, they had 500 reservations canceled at Red Rock. This Red Rock property management. And by the way, Red Rock's a great company. It would be reflective of anything, so I don't want this to sound like, what's Red Rock? They had 500 reservations canceled in the last few weeks. To the tune of, it was like, they were figuring it was 500. Most bookings are about $1,000. $500,000 in bookings from individual nightly, weekly rental owners in town because of COVID.
It's crazy.
Now,
the hospitality tourism definitely is, obviously this is our prime time, so it's taken a huge hit. April is the biggest month for vacation rentals.
right?
So it couldn't have happened at a worse time.
Don't you think, I'm looking at Jesse too, don't you guys think that the reason that, so the piece came out last week about how we were just living life as normal. And then what's his name? The guy did the hilarious
Dan,
Dan's,
dude.
What's Dan's last name?
Fowkes.
Dude, that is so funny. Have you still not seen it?
That's what I'm saying.
It's hilarious.
funny.
It's a
Let's
good
email
one.
it to you today. Very funny. Get it. Somebody get it in the comments of this show today. I think Jesse did the other day. But don't you guys think that the reason it feels that way is because Walmart and Home Depot, those places are busy.
They are.
You know what I mean?
And they're hiring, by the way. My
Okay.
daughter just got hired at Walmart.
And we're going
be
to talk.
a personal
What do we got
shopper.
for time this morning?
We're down about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. We're going to talk about this list of people who's hiring, but I think that's why it feels normal. When I live downtown, last night I was out with my kid on our bikes about 8 o'clock, and I know it's quiet on Wednesday night, but I'm talking on Tabernacle Street. It was like Tombstone. You know what I mean? Like there was no human outside of people walking a dog, no cars, no nothing. So, Macrae, what's going on? Dixie State University in this last video, and we're going to share this video to the comments today. You were with Dixie State University.
Yeah,
What
there's
was
a
going
lot
on there?
going on there too, and obviously with that last video was talking about going D1, which with athletics, it's Division 1, and it's the highest level of college sports, which is a huge accomplishment for Dixie State. There's so much going on, from the renovation of the football stadium, enhancements to the basketball stadium, plans for the softball stadium, but then also all the new buildings that they continually keep putting up. The Innovation Plaza that's incubating startups. Tech is a huge part of obviously this world, and
Jeez.
Tech Ridge, which is another cool thing coming to southern Utah, where Printer Logic actually has their building being constructed right now. they're incubating startups from students with ideas, students and community members with ideas.
How cool
And
is that?
they've got people there that are pros at patents. They're pros at creating startups to success, and they've got a number of legit businesses that are forming and that will be birthed in Southern Utah, which I think is incredible, because that's where we want to take Southern Utah, is down that tech path. There's so many not underground, but small tech companies in Southern Utah that are building, and I think it's a good momentum that we have, and I think it'll continue.
I love that, and we do need to, because otherwise all we are is a construction and tourism town.
Right.
And those are nice things. Okay, let's nail 2 things. People are still buying and selling homes, aren't they?
They are.
How many orders are coming through your guys' last month, would you say?
So
Title order means new transaction comes in Eaglegate.
yeah, so we average about 35, 40 a week, sometimes more. We got in February and March, because of the refi boom, it went even even higher. So 40 is a really good month. 50 is like a week. 50 is a pretty incredible week. And a few of those weeks were outliers. We honestly haven't seen that much of a dip. About 3 weeks ago, when it initially hit, we had our worst week we've had in a while, which was 25.
Correct. Everybody felt it.
But then the last couple of weeks, we had, I think, 39, and then last week we had 46. So far in this week we're at like...
People are still buying.
So people are still, and some of those are refis. We get deals other than just transactions. We have refis, we have things related to construction, but it's all still moving. And that's the big thing, is I've noticed, because I track the refis versus the purchases, and anything related to a purchase or sell.
3 minutes? Thanks, Andy.
And really that week it dipped, but the last couple of weeks, things are still moving. And some of the higher price stuff, maybe not, but a lot of that range that you were talking about, there's multiple offer situations.
Check this out. Okay,
things is going under contract in under 24 hours.
This is fun. We have a $619,000 listing, Little Valley. It's my cousin's home. It's the best part about it. Put it on the market last Friday. I've had 12 showings, 5 offers.
Wow.
5 at 3 o'clock today.
$620,000.
Today we had a little highest and best bid off, basically. Today at 3 p.m.
Wow.
There are people buying and selling. Let me say this, and I'm going to ask you who's hiring. You have permission to buy a home. You have permission to sell a home. We had the buyers come into the home. They came in. They put their mask on and rubber gloves. When I showed the home myself, we had all of the lights and doors open and on. Buyers didn't have to touch a thing. Came and went. The only person who had to touch anything was me, right? Sellers are disinfecting before and after. We have a 3D tour and or a video for every one of our listings, so you don't even have to go in the home. You have permission to not buy it or sell a home. I just gave it to you. Congratulations, you're free. Hey, I want to pull my home off the market. I'm not sure. Great. You have permission. I'm actually giving you permission, because lots of people we kind of want. I call my CPA. I don't just want info. Sometimes I want permission. I'm giving you permission. And when this dust settles and smoke clears, holy crap, it's going to be busy. Macrae, who's hiring? Macrae's here with Macrae Heppler with Eaglegate Title. Rip it up. We have 1 minute. Who's hiring? Just rip through the list.
So just companies that I've heard of in the last 2 weeks, plus one company. The first 3 are actually call centers.
Yep.
And they're not sales necessarily, but they're more customer service
Rip them
oriented.
off. Rip them off, because we have 45 seconds.
Plus one, Chrysalis caption call, Balance of Nature, which is not a call center.
Mm-hmm.
The Walgreens, Walmarts, Smiths, Lynn's, all that. Even some mortgage companies are so slammed that they want processors. So really, if you've lost a job, there's other opportunities. And now that we see some of these restaurants, I wanted to mention Green Iguana, Guru's, and George's all reopened this week, which I think is fantastic news.
Yes,
They've completely
they shut down entirely.
And they've now reopened, not to go sit, but for pickup and delivery.
Let me wrap it. I got to wrap it.
So
I'm out of time. I know it goes quick. Guys, thank you, Macrae Heppler, Eaglegate Title.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna post some of his stuff to our feed. Visit us at Sold, if you want me to give you permission again, soldinstgeorge.com. You can book 30 minutes to ask us anything, and we'll give you Macrae's info.
Thanks, guys.
Woo!
Appreciate it.